Welcome to Unscrew the News. It's Bruce Joel coming to you from inside of the walls of Chinata. We're trying to get the information out there, trying to help other people to wake up. And I do want to make a note. I haven't said this before, but the reason I do this is to bring attention to what's going on in the world, especially here in Canada. And I'm just a dad, and I decided I have enough is enough. This bull crap has to end. And this is why I do this podcast. I'm really excited about my next guest. You're going to enjoy this, I hope, as much as I do. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to start off by showing a quick video of our guest, and then I'm going to bring him on. So stand by here, folks, while I bring up the said video, and you may know him from this.
We're going to have a bright future for our kids, not the gulags that this government wants to put us all in.
Both rallies have sparked local.
Welcome to Unscrew the News, Mr. Randy Hillier. I failed to use the word hero, but because that's changed so much in the last little while, I think that as Canadians, we need to all be standing up together. But I know that you're an inspiration and that you have brought so much hope to other Canadians in your fight for freedom. So I'm really grateful to have you join me here today.
Well, thank you for the kind words, and it's great to be with you as well. And although the name of the show is Unscrew the News, we should say this episode is about unscrewing the people who have been being screwed pretty big time for a long time by our institutions and our political, our corrupt political system here in Canada, and indeed, I would say, throughout the Western world. So thanks for having me on.
The things that I was hoping to talk to you about was your experience being in the political sphere for so many years. I just wanted to get a sense from you because, and I'll lay it out for my viewers, is that the people that I talk to, the people that are interested in freedom, are not seeing anybody standing up for them. I mean, you did. I know that. And we all know that you did. But why wasn't our opposition party, why were they not standing up? I mean, Pierre Poilievre, he had the opportunity to say, hey, it's not right to force somebody to take an injection, even though they don't want it. And he could have been on that side, but we're not seeing that across the board. I mean, obviously, Jagmeet Singh is right in bed with Justin Trudeau, but it's not just federally, right? I mean, what are you seeing, I guess, is what I'm asking.
So listen, for 15 years, and it took a little time to realize how the system actually works as compared to how we're told it's supposed to work. So political parties are best described and more akin to a mob family. That's how people should understand the political system. Their role there has evolved not into a system that is there to protect the rights and freedoms of people. Political parties are now, a crime family, and their legislatures and our parliaments enact protectionist laws for their crime family, for the money people. If there has been a complete integration between the corporate world and our political parties, and I can tell you, people in the audience, on many occasions, I had various lobbyists come to see me as a critic for the Attorney General, or critic for Labor, or Northern Development, and with a request to advance legislation on their behalf that would protect that industry, where there was, to protect that industry so that they would be able to make more money and exclude other people from the industry. And if I was willing to do so, substantial money would flow to the party. And I'm talking about, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars just being offered up to backbench opposition MPs or MLAs. I didn't really fully understand it at the time, but I rejected them. And it was only after a period of time I realized that this is how it all works.
Right.
Everything that is advanced in our parliaments or in legislatures are at the behest, at the coercion, at the benefit of an industry or a corporate interest. It was not coincidental. It was not just good fortune that Loblaws and Walmart and Giant Tiger all stayed open while everybody else was shut down. It was not just good fortune that the beer store stayed open where the gyms were closed. There's significant money interests that move the political parties, and it doesn't matter whether it's the color is blue or red or green or orange. All the established political parties are in the same boat, and the lobbyists for Pfizer and Moderna, they're not exclusive to doing one party or the other. They are lobbying them all, and they're bringing bucket loads of money into the political system. And that's why, for example, when Trudeau was going on about the job, what was Poilievre and O'Toole and the Conservatives doing? Well, you got to get the job faster. You got to buy more of the vaccines. You got to get it into younger people faster. And same with the NDP. And it was the same in every province. The money that Pfizer, Moderna, BioNTech, the pharma brings into the political system is, well, most people would be unable to measure the just how influential that money is into the political system, and they sell politicians on the game of fear with pharma, the same fear that is then amplified throughout society, knowing full well that they also have the profitable cure for the fear that they just sold, and as we all know, it was not a cure, but it was exceptionally profitable. And it's the same thing that they do with the doctors. It's the same thing that they do with the media, and it's the same game. It's the same con that the military contractors do. In their life,
Right.
pretty hard to make money if you're a military contractor unless you've got a war.
Right.
Pretty hard for farmer to make the money unless they believe, unless they can convince people that they're sick or make them sick.
Exactly.
And the politicians run, they take their slice of the pie. They take their cut out of the deal.
Were you aware, or had you become aware, being in Ontario and in politics there, with the forceful contracts from Pfizer and how they were basically had government over a barrel? I mean, were you aware, or did you see any of that?
No,
Because it seems like they weren't just given money. I mean, they were also told if you didn't comply, then this was going to happen, or I don't know. Do you?
no, that's well, nobody saw the contracts. We've only recently been able to get the details of the contract. Listen, you don't have to threaten politicians to do things when you're offering them money. Like, come on, they're, and but for your audience and for you to help understand, these politicians actually believe that they were doing something well. The lobbyists are really good And they convinced our institutions and our politicians that there was indeed a pandemic. Yeah.
Mhm.
And of course, this is not the first time there's been a crisis. Um, the tech people convinced us that Y2K was going to be the end of the world in 1999. Um, the environmentalists have convinced people that um, man is a pollutant, and every time we breathe, we warm up the planet, and and all the icebergs will be gone, and all the ice will be gone, and um, uh, we've been doing this. The corporate world and our culture has been doing this for quite some time, propagating fear so that people can profit from the con of the fear.
Well, this is another, other aspect. One of the other things that we wanted to talk about was this fear propagation. But going back to the politics and the mob mentality. Uh, so were you seeing, a gradual increase of that protectionist laws that they were creating and manipulating so that they were safe and had a nice cozy exit strategy?
Well, so let me say this. At one time when there was actually the parties didn't control the nomination process, when the parties did not have the authority over elected members like they did, um, there was a time when most people who were elected were people of stature in their community, people who were wise and people with integrity. The political system now controls who is permitted to be a candidate, who is permitted to get elected, and they don't pick people of integrity, and they don't pick people who are wise and thoughtful. Um, you know, um, so most of the politicians that I dealt with over the last 15 years and more um,
Crazy. And
are
so
can
one
be
of the
best described as nice people. Um, uh, that they're nice. Not that they're intelligent, not
right.
that they're thoughtful, uh, not that they have knowledge, um, and they're easily in the hands of a skillful lobbyist and GR man, and the political operatives within the party. Um, they're very easily duped, and and most of them, and I would say Doug Ford fits into this category here, um, and I would think most premiers fit into this category. Um, they thought um, that there actually was a pandemic, and um, that the way to, you know, they, that we have to lock people down, that we have to uh, remove their health care from them, close up the schools, um, you know, and without really, really realizing or looking deeply into it, um, how many trillions of dollars, or in Canada's case, hundreds of billions of dollars would
Yeah.
flow into these um, pharma companies, as well as the other um, the other hangers on the con. Let's say the big tech um, made buckets of money on this as well. The
Right.
isolation of people put
Amazon for sure. Yeah.
yeah, and in the WalMarts and the Costco's and the Giant Tigers, they were not, um, let's say, uh, initiators of the con, but they were great promoters of the con because of the ill-gotten gains that they were receiving.
Right. Right. Now, just for the help of myself and my viewers, the lobbyist. You talk about the lobbyist. Now, who is that person? How do they manipulate, or how do they coordinate with government? Can you
So,
give us break down that?
so every um, if you want to see who's really involved, is you look at who the campaign teams are and the campaign managers for the political parties. So um, you take a look at Jenny Byrne for Pierre Poilievre. She owns her own lobbyist firm. Surprise, surprise. Um,
Seriously,
who
this is how incestuous this is.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Who is the campaign manager for Doug Ford in Ontario? Well, Corey Tenike. He was a former director of comms for Stephen Harper, and he owns his own lobbyist firm called Rubicon Strategies. Uh, when you look for those who are uninitiated and want to learn who actually runs the political party, look at the campaign teams, and then you'll start seeing who actually is deriving the benefits and who is actually running the show. The other part of that, because within the campaign teams as well, you will see the pollsters and the campaign businesses, like in Ontario, Campaign Research and Nick Kuvalis. They make oodles and oodles of money out of this system, and they are very close and run the premier here. The same thing will be happening in Alberta with Daniel Smith, and the same thing, with who was Justin Trudeau's campaign manager? Oh, Jerry Butts and the Bronfmans. People who are, um, um, they're in it for the money, and the political party is the vehicle for them to fill their pockets in this. And that, I've often told people, in caucus, when I first got elected, I thought, here I am. I'm going to be with the great minds of Ontario debating public policy. I'll be in a caucus discussing important matters of the day. Well, it didn't take me long to realize in caucus, you only speak about the only thing that you view of public policy through in caucus is, well, how is the party going to benefit? Are we going to be able to convince more people to give us more money and to get more votes or not?
Right.
And if you want to have a conversation, well, I'm much better off to go to the Tim Hortons than to have a conversation in the legislature. There's no debate. You've got every one of them is very happy to be handed their talking points and parrot whatever the lobbyists want them to say.
So are you okay? So I just need to get my head wrapped around this whole lobby thing. So when you were working in your ministry, and so you were opposition, and you had a lobbyist walk in, so he made an appointment.
Yep.
Is that how it works? And then
Yep.
he comes in and he says to you, "Hey, it would be great if." I mean, is that how it goes?
Well, these guys are smooth. So, okay, this is not. It'll be like, well, Randy, why don't you come out for dinner? I'm going to have going to go to this fancy steak restaurant, and I'm, Joe, the developer, is going to drop along as well. Why don't you come out and have dinner with us? And it's, I've got some tickets to the Maple Leafs game. Why don't you come on out and meet a bunch of my buddies and who I'm, he's not going to say, well, these are my clients, but then they'll also come along and they'll say, Randy, why don't you hold a fundraiser and raise some money for your reelection, and I'll bring all my friends and all my clients, and they'll buy tickets. They'll spend $500, $1,000 for a ticket to your fundraiser. And it's very it's obvious if you want to see it, but it's also easy to turn your eyes and say, well, these are just nice guys, and they like me, and that's why they're doing this, and they like my politics, and that's why they're doing it. It runs the whole gamut. And then so they usually butter you up pretty good before they put the knife to you.
Right. So can you see a time? And I'm asking you to give us your prognostication, but I mean, can you see a time where government doesn't need these leeches, these incestuous relationships, this mob sort of family mentality? I mean,
Well, they don't need it now,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But it's a benefit for them, like because these guys, you know, uh, politicians aren't any different than anybody else. They can be bought and sold pretty easily, like most people, but not
but it's
everyone.
not going away.
Uh,
It's not going away though until something happens, right?
So I would say until we find a way to decouple the political party from the electoral system, we're euchred, right?
Mm,
Um,
mhm.
like until we can actually have open nominations uh, where the parties do not control who the candidates are, uh, we're we're screwed. Um, until you know, until we disassemble the authority that the political parties have developed over the decades and have some sense of independence, like we're they're going to control people, and it's only going to be the odd exceptional or the it'll be the exception, not the rule, that you'll find people like me who are willing uh, to lose their political career or jeopardize their political career to
Yeah.
stand on truth or to stand on principles. We saw this with Jody Wilson-Raybould. Is another good example where she would not do the party's bidding uh, to remove the legal liability from SNC-Lavalin, who had contributed hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Liberal Party. Um, and she got to heave ho. There's under the circumstances that we have right now, we're not going to get out of this politically. It's just going to get worse
Mm.
until the people in Canada realize that politicians are not the solution. Political parties are not the solution. They are the problem.
Mm. Before we go, I want to say to everybody that I'm honored, and my viewers have been honored to be in the Scuttlebutt Lodge with you in this historic place. But I also want to draw attention to being able to help you out. And I'm just going to share this, if that's okay with you, Randy, is your website and the No More Lockdowns Canada. I'm just going to quickly share this, everybody, so you can see. And this is how you can help Randy Hillier out, is obviously being able to donate right here, join the mailing list, right? And then we can visit the Scuttlebutt Lodge, everybody, if you felt like it. I'm just going to click on the link so we can show everyone this beautiful location where you're at today. All right. Anything else that you want to say on the way out here, sir?
Well, we'd love having people at the lodge. If you want to come down and have a conversation, a bonfire, some beverages, and enjoy some freedom, we're here. And I think we need to just have the fortitude, just have the strength to speak out and defend our children and our grandchildren, and um, um, and get rid of this corruption that is surrounding us so much, and have fun while you're doing it, because it is fun.
Well, there's some amazing people. I have to tell you, over the last 4 years, I've met some of the most genuine, honest, and fun people to be around over the last 4 years. It's really changed, I know, my life, and I know a lot of people in my circle have learned and experienced a lot of new things. So it's been fantastic.
Well,
Anyway.
it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and hopefully you can make it to Lanark County sometime and sit around the bonfire and have a beverage with me as well, and not just do it on the internet world.
Yeah, I look forward to that. I look forward to coming out and visiting you in Lanark County here in the next while, and seeing your chickens, because I hear about a bunch of chickens. So anyway, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Please share this far and wide, get the message out there, and get active. I keep saying this, but we got to keep getting active, and not just posting on social media, but really meeting with your neighbors and making a difference. So thanks very much for joining me, Mr. Hillier. I appreciate all that you do, and keep inspiring people. So
it's been a pleasure. We look forward to chatting again down the road.
Okay, take care. Good night, everyone. And again, share this information. God bless. Thank you for watching Unscrew the News. If you've enjoyed our podcast or educated from it, give us a thumbs up. All the blessings, and make the world a better place.